Okay, I think we'll get started. Maybe Billy will join in a bit. So here's what I had in mind. So I want to just run through, partly for the purposes of the recording, the developer deep linking, and then talk through how that's being used currently to this initial implementation of URLs for pockets, and then maybe think about a few other things that we might implement that would be easy. The first one that came to mind was extending Phoebe's loading screens. And then I suppose another one would be, I mean, you could think about the way that Zoom works, right, where you distribute a meeting ID, and that's not a link to a place, it's a link to an event, right? It happens that Zoom takes place nowhere, so there's not much of a distinction, but you could imagine that maybe a seminar isn't just a link to a specific place, right? Because maybe I suppose TRS is even bigger than it is now, which might be interesting. Then a meeting or a seminar might be taking place in some part of it, so the meeting ID, or might want to be able to link to particular parts of a large world, so that might be useful. And maybe we can think of some others if you do put them in the chat, and I'll take a look. Okay, so maybe I'll talk about developer deep linking first. So this was announced, yesterday? So here's the developer forum post. The upshot is that you can now make sense of URLs like this. So it gives a place ID. So a place ID is the unique identifier for a particular game, experience, or world on Roblox. You can see that if you go to so for example, for TRS, that is the place ID. So the new thing is that you can pass in arbitrary encoded data. Well, not quite arbitrary. You've got a limit of 200 bytes. But by JSON encoding a data structure, you can pass in essentially anything within that limit. So here's an example. If we take the name of a particular pocket, so let's say gamma event 6, and I'll just encode that. And if maybe I'll put it in here. So I'm going to go back. So just to demo how this currently works. So I'll replace this by the place ID of the rising sea. I'm just going to pass this string as launch data, which is currently what the receiving code understands, but it should be replaced by a more general system. Okay, so I paste that in, I go there. It's not actually going to work because it doesn't work on the Mac client yet, but I'll demo it on the other machine. So let's see. I'm going to share my screen from, if you look for lav, and take a look at that screen. So I'm going to just type in the text that I came up with there. You can copy and paste between Apple devices now. If you copy something on your Mac, you can paste it on your iPad. That is so fantastic. I wish I could do it across platforms. Okay, and this should work. So I hope you can see that. Of course, it needs to upgrade. So what's happening is that the URL, the information in that, is being fed into this client, and then the client is going to feed it into our experience so that we receive it through a teleport service as part of teleport data. So teleport data is a dictionary that you can get from the teleport service API that if the player teleports into your experience from some other experience, it has some information in it. And in this case, it has information about the name of the pocket we want to go to. Of course, now it won't work. But all right, so there we are. Okay, so this will allow you to distribute a URL that links to a particular pocket. If you want to tell someone to meet you there for an event, say. Now, there's a few things that are not awesome about that. One is that you actually spawn into TRS and then you hang around there for a second. Really, it should be seamless. You shouldn't have to see that. We'll discuss that in a minute. But first, I want to explain how that works, as it currently does work. So you can switch back to watching the other machine now, please.
Put it on my phone. I was only in TRS for a split second.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess was that just now?
No, that was yesterday morning or something.
Okay, sure, yeah. Yeah, I suppose it depends whether you get caught by the board loading or not, how long that will take.
Right, okay.
Okay, I hope you can still see the screen of this computer. So how does this currently work? So inside metaportal, there's a function that looks like this. This is triggered. It's a little awkward. I mean, it seems like you should put it in player added, right? So player added will fire on the server whenever a player joins, and then you can grab their join data. So this is the teleport data I was talking about, or rather join data.teleport data is. And then you can look for the launch data and do something with it. The problem with that is that metaportal, this is a problem we're having across many of these components that we're writing. Metaportal may initialize after that player arrive event has fired. So in fact, metaportal may never see that event. So what I'm currently doing is on the client, when the startup script runs, which is guaranteed to run, it will just fire this event. There's a remote event that triggers this.
I was reading this before and I was wondering why you didn't just also iterate over, just do get players. And
yeah, but what if I suppose that would make sense for this particular that would also make sense for these other things. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. I just want to make sure that I grab the information from the first player on some of these things. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay, so here's
we should discuss later in MetaUni Dev. You mentioned just like a sort of problem we have with timing issues, and I think we should definitely fix some of those, and I have some things to say about that.
Cool. Yeah, look forward to it. So here's the launch data. So you get it with get join data, and then launch data. If nothing is passed, it'll be the empty string. Otherwise, it'll be exactly that string, or unencoded version of it. So it'll actually be gamma space event space 6. Right? And then that's just passed to this function, which is responsible for teleporting you into the pocket. Okay. What else did I want to say about that? Yeah, I think that's enough by way of introduction. Are there any questions?
Ethan said something.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, thanks. You walked through a portal and it teleported me back to Gamma Event 6. Was that the return to parent portal? That's interesting. Okay, let me try on the other machine.
Because that's how you're like, that would make sense if you without this extra launch data stuff going on, you assume the entry point is TRS, right? And so if it's written into the teleport data that you started in that pocket, then you would just go back to that pocket.
Okay, let's try. Oh, this is still gamma. Yeah, this is a different gamma event. What? I see. Ah, that's interesting. So I suppose that join data, the launch data is still there. That's what that must mean. But the documentation actually says that's not the case. Not that that's surprising, but this is 6, yeah. Yeah, so we're back in 6 again. Huh. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so it must be that when we got into that other server, we still had our launch data. So it looked at our launch data and then put us here. The documentation for the developer deeplinking promises that's not going to happen, that the launch data is only there on the first time that you enter. But I suppose, okay, we'll have to handle that.
I think I saw something along the lines. I was looking at get join data. It was something about get join data. It was saying about security. Although the user cannot modify this data, it is possible for them to view it or insert data from a previous teleport. I don't know, that may be relevant. I'm not sure.
I suppose if you're in a pocket, you should just ignore launch data. Maybe that's the easiest way to deal with this, right? I mean, it's meant to be the only experiences you can access with a URL will be those with a place ID. Yeah, so we should just ignore. It's still there. That's amazing.
It's your code reading the launch data, right, and acting on it.
That's right.
Okay, well then, surely that's what the issue is, that it can't tell the difference between the first time you're joining and any other time.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
The timing thing, the fact that it takes a while, that also might be fixed by doing get players, because you're not waiting for the client to get to the point where they send the remote event. You're just doing it as soon as the server sees it.
Yeah, I think that's right. Maybe let's do that right now. I just don't want to process this more than once, that's all.
So can you write to the launch data?
I don't know.
Because if so, you could just delete it.
Yeah. Yeah, we could try that. I have a feeling. Okay. This, let's keep. Both of these, though, could go into that. What I'm going to do in a moment is also set up the loading screen, but that'll take place in local scripts.
Hang on, this doesn't really make sense. What does this achieve?
Well, obviously I'm going to do this in player added as well.
Okay, I thought you were trying to achieve the just once method.
Oh, I don't want to quite just run this in both cases. I suppose I could do that. Yeah, that's your suggestion. I think I originally, I mean, this is the thing I'm worried about, right?
Why is that? You've got and not metaportal.pocket in it.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, all right.
Nice method.
Yeah, I should add it to my path, but I just never quite get around to it.
Wait, wouldn't you have done that like months and months and months ago when we first set up Format, or is this a different machine or something?
Yeah, it's a different machine.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to ignore the launch data as well, right? How should we do that? I could just try setting it to nil, I suppose, or to blank. And
Yeah, give that a go.
Yeah, let's check the docs. I'm certain I was promised this would not be like that. Not that that is worth much.
It's only available on the first join.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe just print it out for now. We'll test it again.
Yeah.
Like print it out every time, and then if it's printed the second time.
Well, it's certainly there, right? Because it's doing something. But okay,
Yeah, you're already printing it.
yeah, I'm already printing it. It's just going to happen too fast to really see. Let's try that. This is the hub. takes a while. Okay, I'm going to share the screen from the other account and try joining once that's published.
How cool you can watch multiple streams in Discord now.
Did it not used to be the case?
No, you had to like stop one to start the other one, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now you can have them both running.
Just get in with this account so I can see the server logs. Did we break it?
I notice that happens sometimes.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
You just gotta wait.
It's weird. It didn't used to happen, but yeah, now with some regularity you see like either here or up in the sky.
Feel the secrets.
That's right, yeah. Okay, it seems to not be working. What happened? I hope it's not some stupid syntax error. I like this ping.
Damn. Is that 20 seconds? Oh my god.
No, see,
Are you still in that car park? And
No. It says bad pocket name.
well, that's mean.
That was the same link I put in before. So I don't know how that's possible. Oh, I copied it out of Discord, so maybe there was a space or something in it. I should just try clicking it rather than. It's fine to me. Did it not work for you as well, Ethan? Thanks for me. It's very
No, that's directed at Ethan. He's ranked 254. You're 255.
Right. What's going on now? It just doesn't work at all.
It broke.
Well. You broke it.
Now go in another portal.
Why? It's not going to do anything exotic.
We wanted to see if it would send you back to the same one, right?
Yeah, but the stream you're watching is on the Mac where I didn't pass any launch data, so there's no way it will do anything interesting.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna change this back. I don't think there's much point in futzing around with this. This is a different issue.
By the way, you can highlight multiple lines and then hit Command /.
Yeah, I always forget that shortcut. / because of // I guess. That makes sense. What if I do it on a block that's already got it? Yeah, alright. Okay, well, let's put it back. At least this has the join data equals blank, so we can try that. Okay, yeah, so obviously speeding that up is something to do. I guess one thing I thought of to do in this session was to put in the loading screens, which Phoebe's already coded and are currently used for the what's on board. Maybe while I'm waiting for that to publish, I'll explain how that works briefly. So this is the hub. Inside the hub, there's this is what fires when you click one of the buttons, and you can see here that it's setting a custom teleport GUI. So it gets the GUI from somewhere. I'll show you that in a second. It sets the image, turns off the core GUI, and then passes to teleport service the GUI that you see when you click on the what's on board. So this is inside Pocket Teleport GUI. Okay, Pocket Images. So these are just the images that are stored for each place. I think some of you have seen those. Now the way this happens on the receiving end, so you see that when you leave the hub, and then when TRS grabs you, because that's where the destination for the teleport is, in replicated first, Phoebe has this script. What this will do is it gets the local player's teleport data, and if there's nothing there, it does nothing. Otherwise, it gets that GUI, the very one that we set, including that image, and sets it again for the next hop, the next teleport to the pocket. Okay, so we can just replicate this part, I guess just by editing this very script. Yeah, maybe we'll do that next. Except that we can't just grab the GUI that was given to us. We'll have to reconstruct it construct it as done in the what's on. Okay, so let's try this again on the other machine. Why is it part of the what's on board? Yeah, that's a good question. I guess it should be something that metaportal does. That's what you have in mind, I guess. If you're asking historically why it's there, I suppose it's because it's less scary to write a script in the what's on in the hub than it is to understand what's happening in metaportal. Go. So far, this 30 minutes has been a process of breaking what was already functional.
That's how progress is made, right?
Yeah, that's right. 3 steps back, 2 steps forward.
I don't remember. Did you quit with the other account, or has it been there the whole time?
Yeah, it did. Bad pocket name again. Or maybe... That doesn't make any sense. But okay. Last time I just typed it in, so I guess I can try that. if you click this link in the Discord, is that what you did last time? That worked.
Who are you talking to?
Anybody?
It ends in a 6. Is that?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, right. As in, it's %20 meaning space. And
That's
then
right.
6.
Yeah.
Oh, I just clicked it, but I guess there's no point because we know it doesn't work for Mac.
Hmm. Grandstanding. That's great. Your calves are bigger than your head, Ethan.
That's just the camera perspective.
Mm-hmm. Bad pocket. What? Get one.
Where in the metaportal code does it say bad pocket name?
Yeah, it's in the go-to pocket handler. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, God. I set it to be... Look, that's why, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is productive. Okay, let's try this again. So we're
Did
going
you
to
blame the get players code on that?
Yeah, I guess I did. You want to put that back now? Huh? Okay. How do I get rid of it with a shortcut?
Same thing.
Huh.
It's a toggle.
Alright.
You need to save the startup, the client.
What are we going to do about this launch data? I don't think, we're not going to manipulate the original value this way. I don't think that's functional. What we have to do is pass something in with the teleport data, which tells the receiving.
Can you just write to the regular teleport data, not the launch data?
Yeah. Yeah, I can. And put something in there that says, what, ignore launch data?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Do you give it more teleport data when you send it to the other pocket?
Yeah, there's all sorts of things in there, so that's no problem. I'm just thinking how to architect this. So pass-through is what I'm currently using to indicate that TRS is handing you on. And it would also be appropriate to use that. So that's currently set to true down here. Well, right, so pass-through is true. So I think I can just use that as... Okay, that's right. So that means that in that same function, I'm going to look at ignore launch data on the receiving end, right? So down here, so ignore launch data, join data, teleport data, dot ignore launch data, or false. So if we're handing off to a pocket, ignore launch data will be true, and therefore this won't run. If it's just an ordinary teleport, launch data will just be, well, it should never be nil, it should just be false. So this is fine. Okay, let's try.
This is a you don't have to keep building it and dropping it in. Drag.
Oh, I just connect to Roho, you mean?
Yeah, it's the same as the release one, but it just puts it in the right spot.
Good idea. Thank you.
You could already do this with the default one, but that one like splits it up between server script service and starter player scripts and starter GUI.
Yeah, that's why.
But this one just keeps it together, but still syncs it in.
Nothing seems to happen. Somehow the clock head can't be stood on. I'm not even getting the metaportal menu items or something. They just completely crashed.
Did you click server or is it still loading?
Still loading. Oh, typo. Metaportal 1045. Attempt index nil with ignore launch data. Teleport data is nil. Yeah, sure. Okay. That makes sense. Oh, I saw, maybe that was on Twitter, Ethan. I saw you making some kind of plugin for the monkeys bashing the keyboard to rotate C frames. Was that what that was? I saw something that's how I interpreted what I saw anyway. And then we can automate that part of the code seminar where we try math.py on 2 in every spot. Oh.
He said what it wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Maybe that was.
But we have talked about making a plugin for that.
I saw something like that in the Robloxian math server. Maybe I misinterpreted it, apparently. Oh, I'm still in there. God damn it. Get out of there, Ethan. Okay, I've got the menu. Something. Alright. This one's definitely Billy's fault.
I wasn't watching. What happened?
It doesn't work. I think it's because of that again. So we're going back to the dumb way. Okay, hopefully then I have time to put in this GUI. Well, while we're waiting for that, any other ideas what we could use launch data for? I mean, in principle, it's a very powerful tool, right?
Yeah, you could make the link go straight to the actual position of the seminar.
Straight to the orb, yeah.
I saw there was 2 versions of the link. There was one that actually directly opens the client.
Oh yeah, if it's not installed. That's what that's about. So then if it's not installed, it'll take you to this page and prompt you to install the Roblox client, and then I presume pass on the link once you've done that. I haven't tried that. I never used AppFlyer before, but that was my impression of what that was about.
Right, but using it, if you do have it installed and you use it instead of this link, you just jump straight in.
Oh, I think if you've already got Roblox installed, it should be equivalent to what we're doing. I don't think it's any faster. I don't know.
But say if I click the because when you go to the link, you still have to hit play, right?
No.
Right.
It just launches.
Oh, okay. Even if you launch it from like Discord or something,
I think
like
so.
the link.
Yeah, which is, yeah, in and of itself something good, right? Oh, come on. Literally gone backwards. Oh, I know why. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, okay, this is my fault. I'm just not thinking very clearly when I'm doing this. Okay, of course, when you join, your teleport data is nil, right? So then this launch data just isn't processed. So this is my fault. Um, okay, let's do this more carefully. Get rid of that. So this is the way it was before. I think. Well, no, it was actually reasonably smart before, right? So it checked, is teleport data non-nil? And it specifies the pocket. Then it's going to do, this is the thing that's coming from the what's on board. Yeah, we should rewrite this to be more coherent so that both the URL and the what's on board kind of teleport through TRS are the same thing. But and similarly here,
Where are you using ignore launch data?
that's set in the teleport earlier. Um,
No, but like in this function, you're assigning the value, and then where are you going to use it?
oh yeah, I haven't finished yet. I'm going to, well, if this is true, then this just shouldn't run, right? So let's say
Or false. What does that do?
well, this could be nil.
Oh, okay. Well, nil works the same as false.
Gross. Okay, let's think about this properly. And not ignore launch data, yeah? I think this is right. I've gotten past the stage of, like, when you stand in front of a class, like, your ability to do mathematics drops by like 75% and you become a kind of moron. Just by doing it a lot, this doesn't affect me too much, but apparently I still have the same problem with coding. Not that I don't do stupid shit like this when I'm coding on my own. I'm not claiming that. Okay, apart from teleporting into a place and taking you to a particular orb or location, any other ideas?
I was trying to think of like like because it contextualizes where the user like clicked the link from, and I was wondering if that would like help us identify like could we have like a welcome message or something? Remember we were talking about like having a thing to explain to people that like show up during a seminar, like, hey, we're having a seminar right now. You're welcome to quietly watch, but don't be too disruptive. Um, I don't know. Is there a context in which that makes sense?
Yeah, that's interesting.
I actually joined MetaUni from the. I joined the Rising Sea from metauni.org most of the time. So I don't know. I don't think that for my use case that would be kind of annoying if that showed up.
Yeah. But you can certainly imagine that there ought to be like maybe a tutorial mode which has a particular link or something. That might be interesting. Nice. Okay, finally it works. It said user arrived with launch data gamma event 6 twice. Teleport failed. The previous teleport is processing. I don't know why it ran twice. It's disturbing, but it has arrived in gamma event 6 and stayed there apparently, so that's that problem resolved at least.
Then you gotta walk into another portal.
Yeah.
Ding.
Right. Whoa, look at that. Nice.
Stop moving.
Stay.
Oh no.
No, this is right. I just bad example. I picked another server of the same template. So. Oh no. Okay.
Which one is this? Is this 6 or?
Yeah, this is 6. It's back. Oh, and of course, I didn't put the modified metaportal into gamma event 6. What am I expecting to happen, right? Stupid. Okay, I was too worried about the first bug. I shouldn't have gone on to expect that I'd fixed it. Okay, so we need to put that in gamma event 6. Otherwise, of course, nothing is going to change. I find the friend activity list on Roblox.com quite interesting. It doesn't say which of your friends have played these games, right?
Yeah,
So what is...
that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah. Is this you, Ethan? Retro Studio?
This looks like Ethan.
Yeah, that was my guess.
Bobby, but with a long arm.
What? Okay, now it's in both. So let's try again. It occurred to me it could also be a way of configuring. We talked about having a drone system, right, where some accounts join and they just
Oh yeah.
automatically configured by another account. You could have a special URL, which if you join on that URL, you'll be droned to some particular account. Which, yeah, I was thinking about implementing that drone system, and it was kind of a bit annoying because you'd have to pop up a GUI saying, "Do you approve being turned into somebody's drone?" or something, right? There'd have to be some kind of particular GUI around that. Whereas if they sort of join with a specific URL, you don't have to worry about that.
Mhm. Yeah. The other thing is, at the moment, is there actually anything that like, oh, I suppose there's like what that matters for is the scribe permission sort of stuff, right? Other than that, it doesn't matter who's writing at the moment.
That's right. Don't do it. Don't do it. Die, you. God damn. Okay, well. Mission failed. Okay, something to worry about later. Well, I guess we've reached the end of the time. Let's maybe spend a few more minutes enjoying the rain. Thinking about if there's anything else we might want to use this for in the near term. Yeah, I suppose that's true. It does seem like something you don't want to have an additional management task where you have to keep track of URLs necessarily. So I guess the principal reason to want URLs is to have URLs for pockets, and modulo these bugs, we can already do that. Making it pass through TRS as quickly as possible is obviously desirable. I suppose you could I think this is somewhat bordering on against the terms of service, but you can distribute a URL to people that has kind of like, a Zoom meeting URL contains the password inside it, right? So that if you have that URL, you can join a Zoom meeting and you don't have to enter a password. But if you just kind of know the meeting ID, it's not enough to join the meeting. You could distribute URLs to people in such a way that if you have the URL, you can join. But if you just enter that experience, say from roblox.com or whatever, it just kicks you straight out if you don't have this particular launch data, this secret. So passing along a secret code via the URL would be a way of restricting access that's I don't know what we would want to use that for, but you could imagine maybe if you wanted to hold a seminar or something that was in some sense a closed meeting, you could also do that with a pocket without a portal to it. I mean, you could do that as soon as we have these URLs working, and you can run around and delink portals right now, right? And if you look back at my account, so you can delink portals, so you could just make a pocket, remove all links to it, but retain the URL. Actually, one thing I wanted to do in this session, but we've run out of time, was just quickly implement in the pocket menu something that's get URL. So here there will be a button that's get URL, then it'll pop up a text box with make editable, or whatever it's called, editable false. And so you can select that text and copy using to the clipboard, which you can do with the text box. And then you can paste that URL to somebody in, say, Discord. Now you don't want to have to engineer the URLs yourself by because in particular we'll shift to a mode where the launch data is not just the name of the pocket, right? Because we may want to use the launch data for many other things. It will be some JSON encoded dictionary that says what kind of data it is and then the contents. And there's no way we ask users to generate those URLs themselves. They should be able to get them out of Roblox itself.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Okay. Any other comments or suggestions before we wrap up?